And one person is in custody accused of being involved in a shooting in rural Cass County, leaving one man critically injured. 34-year-old Starmaine Hopper of Moorhead was arrested during a traffic stop with the help of the Metro Area Street Crimes Unit. He is currently being held in the Cass County Jail and is accused of attempted murder, being a felon in possession of a firearm, and possession of a controlled substance. A man called 911 just before midnight yesterday saying he had been shot. Initially, there was confusion about where he was, but deputies found him with critical injuries. The man was able to provide some details of the shooting and was airlifted to the hospital. His name has not been released. The investigation continues into whether any other suspects were involved.